Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the carnival. I'm your host, Cinder Soleil. Our last tier list was a little dark, so I'm gonna do another one, and it's gonna be a little lighter. You guys know, if you've listened to me long enough now, you might have picked up that I'm quite a metalhead, but in truth, I actually listen to a lot of genres. I have over 5,000 songs in my playlist. God knows how many genres in there, quite a lot. A lot of the examples that I pulled, I wound up getting from my own playlist. But I know music is a fun topic for everybody, so I'm like, I just figured, why don't we rank some classic music genres, and we'll see how this goes. This is another one that I'm also making accessible to anybody, so if you want to do this one for fun, or if you want to play it with friends, if you want to stream it, it will be available. It'll be on tiermaker.com. The list itself is just going to be called Music Genres, and made by Cinder Soleil, obviously. Hopefully you have fun with it. Okay, so we have 7 tiers. The top is going to be the pristine, there is true artistry here. It sounds great. Bangers. To be fair, obviously, this is my tier list. This is not the tier list. This is my tier list. This is my opinion. If you have a problem with my opinion, you can make your own tier list, alright? Seriously, it will be fun to see how much we agree and how much we disagree. Second tier will be cool. You can find a lot of good stuff in here. Alright is going to be like, alright, I can jam to this, alright? Tolerable is going to be like, it's not going to kill you, but it's never going to be something you're going to be excited to hear, right? Not for me. Like, it's not, I don't want to call it garbage, but it's just not for me. I would not listen to this. Sounds like ass. Kind of exactly what it sounds like. Ass. And then I put a bottom tier with no idea in case, I actually did some research in advance, and I might, if I'm still kind of hung up on some of these, I'll look up examples, just to kind of be fair. But if I'm feeling uncertain about a genre, or particularly what a genre is, bottom tier is going to be for no idea. Like, I'll look up songs if I'm feeling like I'm not 100% sure what this genre entails, I might look up some examples, but if I'm still feeling uncertain, and of course if anybody else wants to play this and they're feeling unsure, you got a tier in case you don't want to invest in looking up a song or something to figure out. All this sound good? Good. Let's begin. First off, we have classical. Alright, so that's like Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, the classics. You know what, I'm gonna put that in banger. It's like, maybe you don't listen to like classical music just on the regular, which is understandable, but is anybody ever going to be mad hearing classical? It's just a good neutral, especially in soundtracks and stuff. Everybody loves a good classical symphonic soundtrack, right? Am I right? Especially the Shadow of the Erdtree one. Even if you are not a big fan of Shadow of the Erdtree, that soundtrack was banging. Oh, I listen to that a lot while I'm just working on projects and I need some instrumental tunes. Folk. Okay. So folk is like, lutes. I think that's a hurdy-gurdy that she's holding. What are some examples? That lady, I think her name is Patty Gurdy. She got some bangers. I've heard her do a song with D'Artagnan, which is like a German folky pop rock, more like, sort of band. Very good. I think they did a song with her and it was really good. What are some other examples? I think I have a lot of like folk fusions in my playlist. Zivia is another one. That's, I think, just more on the line of regular folk. Peter Gundry. I like folk. It's not for everybody. And I definitely have to be in the right mood for it. It's cool. I'll put it in cool. Celtic. So that's like leaning, it's kind of close to folk, but there's a very distinct sound to Celtic folk. I listen to a Celtic folk fusion that's in my playlist called Crucian. I probably am not pronouncing it right. Hey, editing Cinder, put the name of the band across the screen. Right here. But that's more like fusion, so I don't know if I can fully count it. I'll put it in alright. Nordic folk. Nordic folk is banging. It's so... I think that's kind of what might have helped inspire doom metal. It just has this eeriness. Heilung, I believe they're called, is the band in the picture here. They got some bangers too. It's very unique. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. I'm gonna put it I'm not gonna put it above folk, but I will put it in cool. Nordic folk is really something special. Bjorth is another one that's really good for Saga. And there's a lot of like Nordic folk fusions, of course. What's next? Mariachi. Spanish guitars. Mariachi. I like a Spanish guitar, but the trumpets and some of the hollering that kind of sounds like yodeling. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of mariachi. Actually, I take that back. I've heard it blasted at every California lake and river, to be fair. This one Italian restaurant, which these really inconsiderate chefs that would, like, blast it through the stereo system. Like, blast it. Oh my god, it was so loud. Yeah. I don't know. Not for me. Latin. I kept trying to figure out what Latin means, because when I was doing research, looking through different genres, Latin is like its own genre. The top result that just kept coming back every time was Bad Bunny, and I do not like Bad Bunny in the slightest. I think he's a douchebag. I did find another one. Yeah, Mania. This is like the number one result that came up aside from Bad Bunny on this one list was Mania. I haven't heard them. That didn't sound too bad. It's gonna go at the top of not for me. I guess tolerable. I mean, if Latin is really just like general, that's so generalized, because like, is it just talking about any Latin artist, rock, metal? Because I know some banging metal artists that are from, Latin America that are, this one band out of Chile, Cerebral Slaughter. Oh my god, they're amazing. And their music videos are awesome. They're all hand-drawn. Well, 2 I know that are hand-drawn, and 1 that's with a puppet, but then it actually turns out the puppet has some meaning in it. Cerebral Slaughter. If you're into deathcore and stuff, highly recommend checking them out. But then that could also count as Latin music, because in the same way that pop rock from a Latin artist and rap from Bad Bunny could count as Latin art, as Latin music, Latin genre, so can that. So that's so generalized. I'm just gonna put it in alright, because literally, like, I don't know where else to put this. You can browse the Latin music genre on Apple Music. It's one of the things. It's like, if you go to the search section, they literally have a whole category for it. It's just like, that's so generalized. That's like saying, Canada as a music genre. Are we talking like 1,000 Foot Crutch, some Christian pop rock, or are we talking Canadian deathcore? I'm drawing a blank on Canadian deathcore bands, but I know there's a lot of really good ones. List them in the comments. List them in the comments. Canadian deathcore. I have a lot to go through here, so I need to be faster about this, huh? Bollywood. I've never heard a Bollywood song, actually. I'm not gonna play it, because that's definitely gonna get me a copyright strike, right? Alright, I get the idea. I guess not bad. I'll put it in tolerable. It's not my taste, but that is definitely better than a lot of the stuff that gets blasted through American speakers when you're trying to shop. Jazz. That's another kind of broad one. I did listen to a lot of jazz music. There was a old-timey 40s era Chicago-themed restaurant that we used to go through a lot when I was a kid, and they were always blasting that sort of old-school jazz. It's actually kind of nice. Some of it, sometimes the brass instruments get a little squeaky, and it can be a little grating on the ears. Maybe it's just me. I'll put it in... Yeah, I'll put it here. It's alright. Funk. Aren't these the creators of Funky Town, too? Not... I don't know. I'm just gonna say not for me. It's Donna Summer, disco. Okay, so Donna Summer would be the example. I only know one Donna Summer song from Bob's Burgers. I take that back. I think I've heard another one by her. I don't remember what it's called. I just kind of remember the melody very vaguely. Where would I put disco? I guess it's tolerable. I'll even put it in alright. Yeah. You know what? I'd even say a little better than jazz, because at least with disco, you're not getting like that squeaky brass. That's always a risk with jazz. Swing. First of all, there's like a lot of like 60s music that I listen to, like Led Zeppelin. They have a couple songs that you can tell are really swing inspired. Electric Light Orchestra also has one, Rock and Roll is King. It very reminds me of like that sort of swing-like beat. It also makes me think of the Fallout music. I mean, it's nothing I would listen to regularly, but I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna put that up. Yeah, I like swing. I like swing. That's alright. I put it at the top of alright. I like Fallout music. Renaissance. So that's like before even Bach. That's like the really old stuff. We're talking bardcore. We're talking bard music. Tavern tales about dragons and knights. Which just makes me think Skyrim music. Which I actually like Skyrim music kinda, so it's tolerable. R&B, which is like Stevie Wonder. I believe that is, yeah, Stevie Wonder. Oh, R&B would also count Prince, Beyonce, and R. Kelly. Either R&B period or R&B inspired songs, which I do like some Prince songs. I do like a lot of Prince songs, actually. Beyonce, I might try to give a little bit of a pass if she wasn't insufferable and potentially evil, considering her connections to both the Diddy trial and the Epstein list so far. Same with Jay-Z. Investigate Beyonce and Jay-Z, just saying. Oh my god. Musically, though, it's like gonna be between alright and tolerable for me. It's ska. Not for me. I've tried listening to ska, it just sounds really obnoxious to me. To me. Which is weird because the band in the question is No Doubt, but I actually kind of like Gwen Stefani. Reggae. You know, I'm gonna put ska and it sounds like this. And I'm also gonna put reggae. I'll put it above ska there. Reggae literally just sounds like 2 chords and some island drums. I don't know. It's very repetitive and it's very easy. Spoken word. You go at the top. No, wait, bottom. Right, worst would go to the bottom. Hip-hop. I had a really hard time deciphering what's hip-hop, what's rap, and what's pop. But the examples that came up that were number 1 for what is hip-hop were, Run DMC. I know 2 songs by them, and they're both 3 songs, actually. Didn't they do The Devil Went Down to Georgia? But it was, like, on a mixer, so it was like Devil Went to Detroit or something. Yeah, that's alright. Rap. Not for me. There's rap, there's exceptions. Some like the 90s rap, especially the 90s rap. I just feel like there's so many rappers where they're just like incoherent nowadays. I'm talking, when I think like good or tolerable rap, I think like tolerable at the very least. I think like Snoop Dogg, I think Tupac, I think like the old school rappers. It's the new era of rappers where so many of them are just borderline illiterate. You can barely understand what they're saying. And it's just not me. Like, nothing against the rappers themselves. I'm sure some of them are... I can't even say... I mean, we discover what a lot of rappers are like, and then it's like, ooh, maybe... I can't even say you're a nice person. People say they're afraid of metalheads. It's the pop stars that are the assholes, and the rappers that usually have a record. Just saying. Yeah, it's just not for me. The new era of rap. If this was 90s rap, I would bump it up a couple spaces. But considering rap in totality, hardcore rap, I'm gonna put that at the bottom. So it's not higher than what I have so far, but the bottom of cool. Just because, if nothing else, I love Hollywood Undead and ICP. Both of which I believe fall in that category. One of the members of Hollywood Undead even went solo for a while and kind of found that genre too. Deuce? He put out a couple of hit singles though. I know a lot of juggalos are kind of crazy, but I love ICP's music. Don't judge. You can't just judge a music artist by their deranged fan base. My favorite's probably Fawn's Pond. That one is just such a banger. Trap. Okay, so that's like Suicide Boys. Basically any sort of general combination of rap with rock or metal. I've also heard some like trappy sort of sounds in Thousand Foot Crutch, and one Mushroomhead song. I believe it's called Womp. It's... yeah. I'll pair it up with rap. What's next? Alternative. There's like so many ways you can determine what alternative means. That can be like a pop thing, that can be a rap thing, that can be an experimental sort of thing, that could even be like a rock or metal thing. And there's a lot of alternative rock that I actually really like, including Muse. I believe that's the band in the picture here. I haven't heard a lot of like new stuff from Muse, but their old stuff, oh, I love it. I will put it at the top of tolerable. But there's a lot of bands that I guess you would consider alternative that it's just not even heavy enough to be. It's basically just they want to be rock, but they're not even heavy enough to be considered rock. So, and they're just fake rockers. It's a genre where you find a lot of fake rockers, kind of like how hard rock features a lot of fake metalheads. Pop rock. Oh, okay. So pop rock is where you find things like Elton John, the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Queen, any sort of thing where it's not totally rock, but it's rock with elements of pop. Like it's got that sort of catchiness to it, that sort of flair to it. If you couldn't tell from Mr. Elton here. And I do love me some Elton John. I do love me some Queens. I haven't listened to the Beatles a lot. The few songs I have heard, they're decent. I do like some Michael Jackson songs. My favorite's probably, I know, it's an easy one, Smooth Criminal. But sounds funky. I like it. Let's put that at the bottom of cool. You know, I'll put it above hardcore rap even. I'd say I like it better than the hardcore rap artists I like. Opera. Oh, this is a hard one. Because, again, you have to determine if this just means like only like old school opera, or if it means any music with operatic vocals, like that vocal technique. There's so many symphonic artists, especially in rock and metal, that incorporate those operatic vocals over like these heavy guitars blended with violins and cellos, and it's so pretty. Some examples of that would be like either Tarja or I think it's Tarja that's in the picture there. Snow White Blood kind of does that with the operatic vocals. Very operatic for her. Blackthorn kind of throws them in here every now and again. Blackthorn is a very good band. Tarja, Within Temptation, Dark Sarah. Oh, Dance with the Dragon by Dark Sarah. I love the music video and the song. I gotta put that one in banger. Obviously, I don't just listen to normal opera. There's a lot of operatic vocals where I think it's a little over the top, it's kind of cheesy, but when you blend operatic vocal techniques with rock or metal, or with even just symphonic, like that dark symphonic sound that you'd find in like a gothic soundtrack, oh, gorgeous. Rock. Okay. So generic rock. It's not heavy enough to be metal or even really hard rock. Like Ghost. Old Ghost could easily fall into the category of hard rock at least, if not metal. Modern Ghost is a little poppier, it's got more of a beat, it's more melodic, it's not really as heavy as it used to be, so that's why Ghost is the example here. That said, I still love the band Ghost. What would some other examples of rock be? Generic rock. Old Muse, I guess? Uprising, Supermassive Black Hole, Five Finger Death Punch, maybe? Like the newer stuff, that's a lot of bands that used to be considered like hard rock or metal, they've kind of softened up over the years. I'd say Death Punch is one of them. Raw, Evans Blue, Flyleaf, New Motionless in White. You could even take this to some of the older artists, right? Like Billy Idol, I'd call that rock, not metal, or even hard rock. Ozzy Osbourne, maybe not Motley Crue. Led Zeppelin, I'd put that in banger. Like between classical and opera. Doesn't matter if you're like a brutal banging metalhead, it doesn't matter if you're a pop addicted person. Everybody has like at least one rock song that they like, right? It's a good middle ground category. Grunge. Ooh, that's a good one. Nirvana. I'm actually not the hugest Nirvana fan, just musically speaking. I'm going to get eaten alive for saying this, but I think Kurt Cobain is overrated. Respect to the man. He was cool, he was really cool. I just think his music's overrated. And to be fair, in my defense, he also believed that there's a reason he hated Smells Like Teen Spirit. Look it up. What are some other grunge artists? Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Alice in Chains, though. Oh, I love Alice in Chains. I'd say they're like a family favorite, actually. Everybody in my immediate family. I like Soundgarden too. Some of the songs are but like especially like bangers like Outshined, classic. It's not like I hate Nirvana either. I still listen to a lot of Nirvana songs. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of spiteful that Alice in Chains is so underground, and Nirvana is just that one band that every teen girl says they're a huge fan of and wears some merch, and then all they know is Smells Like Teen Spirit. I'm also spiteful because freaking Target and Walmart, all these freaking stores, you look in the ladies' t-shirt section and your only music choices are like David Bowie and Nirvana. And then you go look in the guys' section and they have freaking Metallica, Megadeth even. I'm like, what the fuck, man? To be fair, I'm a weird woman in that sense, but still. Most of the women buying those Nirvana shirts couldn't list more than one Nirvana song, I swear. Grunge, I'll put cool. I'll bump it even above hardcore rap. I love Alice. I hate Pearl Jam. I'm okay with Nirvana and Soundgarden, but Alice in Chains is so peak. I have to bump it up. Okay, psychedelic, stoner music. First thought, Pink Floyd. I've also heard The Doors is kind of like also falls into that category of stoner music. If you could list me some more examples, I actually kind of had a hard time kind of finding more examples of psychedelic stoner music. Sort of. Grateful Dead is one that I heard mixed opinions about in that regard. Let me know what you think about that. I'll put them in alright. I'll put them better than jazz. It's rock, so that automatically gives it a boost. We got glam rock. With a rat as the main example in the picture there. When I think glam and hair metal, which is right next to it, there's a lot of overlap there actually. I don't know why those are two. I don't know why I divided those genres, but either way. I love that 80s cheese. Okay, but anyway, what do I think when I think glam rock? I guess that would include things like, apparently Alice Cooper. That makes sense. Old school Alice Cooper. Oh my god, have you seen the Feed My Frankenstein music video? With the Wayne's World opening? Love it. David Bowie, that's true. Kiss. Oh, my dad showed me this old Kiss song, All Night. Literally, that's the name of the song, UH, exclamation point, All Night. And the music video was so cheesy. Like, so much of that 80s cheese. It was so bad, but at the same time, I love it. You know what I mean? It makes you laugh, but at the same time, it's awesome. So yeah, Kiss, I guess, would count, at the very least, old Kiss would count as glam. The Sweet. In case you don't know, the Sweet are a one-hit wonder. That one hit being Ballroom Blitz. And the man in the backs and everyone attack and turn into a ballroom blitz. I figured out that song from Regular Show, and then I actually kind of liked it. It's actually really fun to play on bass. Fun fact, I play bass. Not good, but I do play. Rat, Poison, Great White, Bon Jovi, Skid Row, old school Sebastian Bach. I do like a lot of glam rock, actually. I'm gonna put that at the top of cool. And I'm gonna do the same with hair metal. There's so much overlap between glam and hair metal, I really don't know how to separate them. I guess hair metal would be more metal than you would expect from like David Bowie, Kiss, or Alice Cooper, like Motley Crue. That's all I got. And I love me some Motley Crue. Today, not so much. As one singer that aged very poorly, guys. Like, all respect to that singer. Aging happens to all of us, alright? Listening to modern Vince Neil try to sing Kickstart My Heart it sounds painful. It's sad. Okay, moving on. That's enough trashing legends. We're not here to trash hair legends, okay? Hard rock and metal. Alright, cool. Classic. This is what I grew up on, right? Hard rock. That's Avenged Sevenfold in the picture. Absolute classic. City of Evil album. So many bangers. The Smashing Pumpkins. Also a classic. Marilyn Manson. Delectable. I think his peak was, if not like Portrait of an American Family, then it was probably Mechanical Animals, Dope Show, and all that. Oh, classic. Avatar. Yeah, especially new Avatar. Avatar used to border on freaking black metal. They had like the hiss. That sort of hiss style vocal that Johannes has, where it doesn't sound like that obnoxious, grating black metal hiss. It's like somewhere between like a guttural and the black metal hiss. It's very unique, and it was definitely in the darker pits of metal, but newer Avatar, he's still doing that technique and everything. It's just a little more catchy. They softened up a little bit, which isn't bad. It's just I define it more as hard rock and metal now than like on the brink of black metal or doom metal or whatever. In this moment, I love In This Moment. And I'm still spiteful that everybody knows who frickin' Hailstorm is. Everybody and their mom knows who frickin' Hailstorm is just because it's a lady that can play guitar. Not a big accomplishment. There are ladies playing guitars long before her and singing. Tool, Breaking Benjamin, Motionless in White, Old Motionless in White, Bullet for My Valentine, and of course the legend Rob Zombie. It is my list, so I'm putting him in there. Today, I would say there's a lot of posers that are in the hard rock scene, where like, they throw just enough heavy elements in there to be considered hard rock, but then they immediately revert to being poppy and lame. Emo, speaking of Fall Out Boy. Who is this? My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Green Day, I've heard mixed opinions on. Old School, 30 Seconds to Mars. They're alright. I'll put them at the top of alright. There's a few songs there that are okay. It's one of the... Emo is like one of those bands that, like, you grow out of. It sounds mean, but at least in my experience, it's been my experience that, like, emo's for teenagers in the same way that the Jonas Brothers are for teenagers. It's something you grow out of. Okay. I'm going to get eaten alive by a bunch of vampire teenage girls who are way too into emo music. Gerard Way is literally speaking to me. He knows what I've gone through in this world. He's the only one who understands, unlike my mom and my dad and my siblings. How dare you make fun of him? Okay, no, I'm just being mean. Okay, fuck you, this is my list. Punk. No comment. There's some punk that's alright, but the majority of it just sounds not for me. Which I could put it in not for me, but actually I'm gonna do that. I admit I've heard a couple of pop songs. I mean, not pop. I've heard a couple... Why is mariachi so high? I'm gonna put that down here. If it's instrumental mariachi, it goes... If it's instrumental mariachi, it's okay. I don't like the yodely sort of vocals. I have heard a couple of punk songs that I actually don't mind. I know a couple of punk bands that are kind of cool. That's the Sex Pistols in the picture there. There's just so much. That just sounds, you know, like you hear one... It feels like you hear one punk song and you've heard it all. Thrash. That's staying there. Thrash pisses me off because there's no consistency on what thrash is. Like, people say the big four, they're all technically thrash. The big four being, if you don't know, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax. They kind of revolutionized rock/metal in the 80s. How you go from Metallica and Megadeth to Slayer and Anthrax and you consider them to be in the same genre, I don't know how that happens. Metallica and Megadeth actually have, like, a discernible melody, first of all. A discernible beat. It feels like Slayer has a couple of songs that are like, okay, that's not bad. I think Raining Blood was actually one that I actually kind of like by Slayer. But so much of it is just, like, noise. It just sounds like noise. That's how a lot of modern thrash is, too. So I'm just like, Like, it's just exhausting trying to listen to. To be fair, there's a few Megadeth songs where I can see, like, okay, that's where they think Megadeth is thrashy. But when I think Megadeth, I think freaking Symphony of Destruction, I think Hangar 18, I think Holy Wars, I think all the classics. And the completely underrated Endgame album with the Right to Go Insane and its Killdozer music video. Chef's Kiss. New. Oh, this is where I get to talk about my other obsession. I would be tempted to put new in a low tier solely because new metal would include Limp Bizkit, which automatically makes me want to put it in, like, the lowest possible tier. And that's like, when you think new, the first person that comes to mind is probably Fred Durst. Fred Wurst. So, not a great image. But if you couldn't tell from the image for new down there, that also includes my favorite band of all time, Korn. That would also include Slipknot. That would also include Linkin Park, System of a Down, Disturbed, Mudvayne, Static X. Like, there's a lot of people in the new genre, actually. Solely because it has Korn, I'm putting it at top. Is Korn's glory strong enough to outshine Fred Durst being in the same genre? I'd say yes. I put that there. Wow, I'm gonna sound like a corn glazer now. I am a corn glazer. If you guys are in on the loop, what's your favorite corn song? Let me know. Let me know your favorite genre, your favorite band. List your favorites in the comments below. Okay, moving on. Soundtrack. Ooh, Lies of P soundtrack, yeah. That was a cute one. That was an awesome game. Awesome game. I have not played it myself, but I watched my brother play through the whole thing like twice now, plus the DLC. It's such a pretty game, and I love the story so much. And the soundtrack is really good. I was just talking about how I love the Elden Ring soundtrack. Undertale soundtrack is that's another one that's really popular and really, it's cute. What's another good? Zelda soundtracks. Oh, I used to get really stressed because in California we lived in an area that was really susceptible to fires. So if there was news about a fire, I'd be so stressed. I'd be so stressed out. I needed something to listen to, and I would listen to just these long compilations of Zelda soundtracks because they were so calming. It reminds you of something you love, like Zelda, and the music itself is so peaceful. Especially like the Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess ones. Even Wind Waker had some nice ones. I will admit, the Silent Realm soundtracks from Skyward Sword induced some mild PTSD. I played Skyward Sword when I was really little. The Silent Realm scared the fuck out of me. Soundtrack I'll put in banger. Kind of like rock, everybody has a soundtrack they like to listen to, right? Power metal. Love. To be fair, there are some... I'll put it here. Okay. There's some power metal where, like, you're trying too hard, right? But when you get that perfect power metal sound, it feels mighty. It makes you want to loot something. It makes you want to pillage something. It makes you want to take up your sword and fight for your kingdom. What are some examples of power metal? Obviously, when you say power metal, everybody immediately thinks Dragon Force, Herman Lee, Through the Fire and the Flames. It's probably the most popular power metal song ever. Which, if you think Through the Fire and the Flames is a legend, and Herman Lee himself a legend, but if you want to hear some truly crazy guitar, look up Rings of Saturn. The Macrocosm or Get 'em. The Macrocosm actually probably has the craziest guitar. Iced Earth, that's a good one. It makes you want to be a pirate. Ensiferum. I don't know how you pronounce the band, but I love the band. It makes you want to be a Viking. I mean, that's really just what power metal does. It just is so, like, normally metal just gets you hyped up and angry and just want to punch something. This makes you feel mighty and inspires you and makes you want to freaking be a Viking, be a pirate, be a something or other, be a knight, be something. Symphonic Metal. Very good. Very good. I'm putting that a step above hard rock and metal, one step below new. I don't think anything can beat out new for me because new is where I put Korn. And I'm that much of a Korn-obsessed dweeb. But then I put thrash and sounds like ass, and that includes Megadeth. You know what? I'm putting it up a notch. Symphonic Metal. Banger. Absolute banger. Symphonic metal is also good because it varies. So if you're more into like something soft with very melodic vocals where the metal elements are kept to like a minimum, I would say listen to like Lacuna Coil, Dark Sarah, Nightwish, Camelot, Blackbriar, Flyleaf, even Trans-Siberian Orchestra, TSO. They're the ones who did the really famous rock opera sort of song, Christmas Eve. You know it. You hear it every Christmas, somehow, some way or another, right? And then that also incorporates, like, the heavier ones. Ignia, Septic Flesh, Flesh God Apocalypse, Synestia, banger. Shadow of Intent. If any of you are Halo nerds, Shadow of Intent did an entire album based on Halo. In case you couldn't tell, the Shadow of Intent is a ship in Halo. And, like, there's so many songs that are literally just quest point markers in Halo. Or have you come, Reclaimer? Doom metal. That's an interesting one. What would you consider doom? First of all, everybody considers Mushroomhead doom. Mushroomhead is one of those bands. First of all, their glory was stolen by Slipknot. Everybody thinks they copied Slipknot with the mask thing. Mushroomhead came out before Slipknot. Sorry, not sorry. Mushroomhead's one of those bands with like a lot of variation in their songs, but generally speaking, they fall into the doom metal category, which makes sense. Doom is like those deep, grungy tones that you let ring. You want them to sound like frickin' ominous church bells, like death is coming or something, right? Swallow the Sun. Even yeah. At first I was confused why people lumped Black Sabbath in with doom metal, but then I remembered Electric Funeral. That was kind of like the first doom metal song. Just like those slow, eerie songs. That's where doom kind of comes from. I'll put it with power metal up here. Maybe a step above. No, I can't do that. Black metal. I have mixed feelings about black metal. Black metal would include... My favorite black metal band is probably Cradle of Filth. There's symphonic black metal, which is really good. I really like the symphonic black metal category because that's where you get like a discernible melody. Symphonic elements kind of forces you to slow down, to harmonize with these violins, with these melodic ladies' voices, and gives the song like a discernible melody. And there's some Cradle of Filth songs where they lean too much into the black metal, and you kind of lose me. True black metal, quote-unquote, is, again, kind of like thrash. It's just noise. Recording quality, ass, just... What are some more examples? Abbott. They have a couple songs that I used to jam to. Bathory, or if that's supposed to be named after Elizabeth Bathory, it would be pronounced Boutry. Dimmu Borgir, that's a classic. They're another one that kind of falls into the symphonic black category. They have a lot of like operatic or sort of creepy, churchy elements, if that makes sense. Behemoth, they're okay. Belphegor got some bangers. Conjuring the Dead. Ooh, I think that's even who's in the picture here, is Belphegor. So there's a few black metal bands that I like, but like the only thing that really makes them stand out to me is the fact that they're black metal fusions. Like when Cradle of Filth is just sounding like pure black metal, I don't like it. When they lean into the symphonic elements and their symphonic black metal, that's what I like. I'm putting it at the bottom of tolerable. Pure black metal is really annoying to me. It has to be tamed. Okay. Deathcore and death metal. In the picture there we got the classic Cannibal Corpse. Everybody says you're like a poser if you listen to Cannibal Corpse and you don't really listen to any other death metal. Bitch. Cannibal Corpse was one of the people who started death metal. Don't start with me. Technically it was Barnes, but Fisher sounds better than Barnes. Sorry, not sorry. Who else? Necrogoblicon. They're really fun. Lorna Shore is a newer one that's on the scene, more melodic. I like them. I like them a lot. Infant Annihilator. They're an older one. Very funny. When I say the name of the song... you're gonna think the music video is horrific. Actually, I'm remembering certain parts of that music video, and it actually is kind of horrific. Watch The Three Bastards. That one's a little better. If you're 18 or more, Decapitation Fornication. Their music videos are great. The Three Bastards, it's brutal death metal in the background. Drums going crazy, guys screeching, gutturaling, guitars brutal. And then they're dressed up as boy band members, playing on the beach with like plastic, this obvious plastic jewelry that's supposed to look all gold and stuff. They're frolicking in the waves. It's hilarious. Who else counts as death metal? 6 Feet Under, that's where Barnes went after Cannibal kicked him out, I think. Carnifex, Fit for an Autopsy, Cerebral Slaughter, as we mentioned earlier. I'm gonna put that... there. Industrial. There. I love me some industrial. Industrial, in case you're confused about what that means, think of industrial as like the midpoint between electronic and techno, as is the next one, and rock and metal. And some lean more one way or the other. There's a lot of Marilyn Manson, for example, that people would consider industrial sounding. But the most recognizable industrial artist would probably be Rammstein. Some that I know, it would include like Shiver, Shiv-R, Ludovico Technique, Dawn of Ashes, God Module. There's another one I'm drawing a blank on. Third Realm, I think they're called. They got some good ones. Shiver and the latter, even God Mod, they lean more into like the electronic side of it. But yeah, industrial, classic, love it. Death Stars, that's another one. I think that's who's in the picture too, is Death Stars. Electronic and techno. Who would that include? Dance with the Dead, maybe? Dead Mouse? I think another one, Daft Punk is the one in the picture here. They did the soundtrack, or most of it at least, for Tron, that Tron movie. I think they even made an appearance in there when they were at the end of line place. You can see him in the background. I thought that was funny. I'll put it up here. Yeah. And maybe not with pop. Like right there. There. Yeah, I like it. I like a lot of it. Some of it does get a little obnoxious, but it's funky. It's fun. Why not? And you can really extend what electronic even means. For example, a lot of people consider Lindsey Stirling's work electronic, and Lindsey Stirling is a violinist. I mean, she just kind of plays the violin, electric violin, with some sort of electronic edits and stuff backing. Trance. Trance was an interesting one. Trance came up in my playlist. The only song that was in it, though, was one song from Madame Macabre. What was it called? Wicked Signals. Which I kind of get it. I also looked up an example of who represents the trance genre. And the first one that came up was Armin van Buuren. That's the guy in the picture. That sounds cool. I can see myself vibing to it. I know, vibing. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of cool. You know, I'm gonna put it with psychedelic because I feel like that's the same effect you're aiming for with trance, is just to kind of like, you know, let go, get tripped out, be a stoner. That's the kind of vibe I'm thinking. Dubstep. I did go through the dubstep phase. Didn't we all? Come on. Skrillex just kind of went onto the scene and everybody was listening to him. Excision, Kill the Noise, Skrillex, yeah. I'm gonna put it a step above emo. I think a lot of dubstep is cooler than a lot of emo music. But it is kind of like the same deal. It's something like you go through the dubstep phase and then it kind of... lo-fi. I still don't know exactly what lo-fi is, but every time I hear it, it's just like a beat with some soft music behind it. Sometimes it's piano, sometimes it's just like more electronic mumbo jumbo. I'm just gonna put no idea because I genuinely can't decipher what lo-fi is. Like when I listen to it, it's not bad, but there's also like little consistency. I found out somebody made Zelda lo-fi, and I was like, it's basically just Zelda music, but you added a beat to it. I don't know what you did here. Americana. Okay, so this is like what would be Americana? Quintessential American. Johnny Cash, Tom Petty, Kid Rock, Ted Nugent. You know, all the classics like that. I don't listen to Kid Rock regularly, but he's cool. Ted Nugent. I mean, who doesn't love Cat Scratch Fever? Come on, guys. Johnny Cash, too. Everybody likes a Johnny Cash song, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm being generous. I will put this... My national pride wants me to put it in top tier, but to be fair... It's like between tolerable and not... I'd listen to Kid Rock before I listen to Run DMC again, so... Or Ted Nugent. I love me some Ted Nugent. Pop. That's another one that kind of is wide-reaching, right? When I think, like, general pop, it's the next one that's I'm gonna be a little more feisty about. When I think general pop, I really think, like, a lot of the 90s pop. When people say music was better in the 90s, I think a lot of them are thinking pop, and I don't blame them for it. I'd take 90s Madonna over so much of what the modern pop scene has produced. My god. I also like Gwen Stefani. That Don't Speak song. Not bad, not bad. But, to be fair, those are also the exceptions to the rule. I don't know, there's a few pop songs I've heard just on the radio playing in, like, I don't know, TJ Maxx or something, and it's like, okay, that's not terrible, and then there's some I'm like, it makes me angry, it's so annoying, and they play it so loud. Taylor Swift. You guys know from the college courses tier list how I feel about Taylor Swift, right? I'm not gonna rehash it. I'm trying to be generous here. Okay. Pop. It's like, but it's somewhere in here. I can't decide exactly what. Because like I said, there's a lot of classical pop that I'm like, alright, I can vibe with that. Heck, you know what? Not even just the classical stuff. Madame Macabre is technically pop, but for one, she can actually play an instrument, which is nice. And she actually sounds good. I really like a lot of Madame Macabre songs. Her God Syndrome song, that one was awesome. There's one that even featured Hatsune Miku, which awesome, and another Vocaloid. I'm gonna bump it up. I'm gonna put him right behind Muse. They're kind of similar sounds, right? Kind of similar sounds going on here. It makes sense. Bubblegum Pop. Okay, so I looked up what bubblegum pop means. I've heard the term a lot. I was trying to figure out what it means and what the difference between that and like normal pop was. Bubblegum pop apparently includes Katy Perry, Britney Spears, and Gwen Stefani. Which, as I said, I like Gwen Stefani, but Katy Perry and Britney Spears? Yikes. That lady who did the Wrecking Ball song, Miley Cyrus, was it? She pop or bubblegum pop? I don't know. Either way, not for me. Europop. Number one example, the Spice Girls. But to be fair, D'Artagnan is a band I just mentioned earlier that did the song with Patty Gurdy when we were talking about folk. And they're technically considered pop, but I do love them. They got absolute bangers. There's another example, mute the audio while I listen to this so it doesn't copyright strike me. So far, it just sounds like more generic pop. No offense, Europeans. Voice is very... Okay. All the old guys. All the old guys in this video. Oh my god. Okay, so... I don't know. Maybe there's better examples than that, but as far... from what I sound. So... between that, the Spice Girls, and D'Artagnan, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of... Alright. Cascada? Not for me. D'Artagnan, absolute banger, so... But based on what I know already about Europop, it's very diverse. So... I don't know. I'm not so uncertain that I want to put it in no idea, but I'm not certain enough to put it any higher than alright. Sorry. Oh, I should have taken that out. Sorry. I'll have to take that out when I'm done. I forgot. The program I was using to make these pictures was being weird. That one was glitching out when I was trying to make this one, so it kind of duplicated it. But anyway, J-pop/J-rock, and that is Hyde as the photo, and I love Hyde. I love, he's a Japanese pop rock star. I don't know, sometimes he's more poppy, sometimes he's more rocky, but either way, he's awesome. Who else falls in the J-rock, J-pop category? Necronomidol, however you say it. Hiragi Kurai. I think that's how you say her name. I don't think she's a Vocaloid, but I've only seen like anime album covers of her. She does some cool songs. I used one of her songs as like my first short when I was still doing just a motion capture test of Cinder. It's kind of carnival-y themed and dark carnival themed, and I was really enjoying it. I thought it fit so good. Ado was okay. Ado. I heard her cover of Senbon Sakura. It was pretty good. I like that song. Deathcore. Oh, and Julica. Julica sometimes gets a little thrashy, a little chaotic, but Deathcore. I've heard a lot of great Deathcore songs. That's more like J-metal, really, but I like it. And the Gazette, which they've got some bangers too. J-pop and J-rock, goated. I will put it up here with... They're tied. I'm gonna put Rock Ahead, but they're tied. K-pop and K-rock. I know nothing about K-rock, but K-pop, I've heard like 2 BTS songs now, and I'm sorry guys. Not for me at all. Just boy bandy. Very boy bandy. And not like the 80s cheese sort of boy band that I can laugh at, like New Kids on the Block. We're talking like Jonas Brothers, that's just kind of gay. But I did listen to, out of curiosity, because even like Nux was saying it was really good, the K-pop Demon Hunters songs. And I don't know if that's the best representation of K-pop, but I did listen to the Your Idol Soda Pop I wasn't a huge fan of, but the Golden Song was alright. Your Idol, that one was a banger. That one was pretty good. And there's another K-pop person called Vix with 2 X's. Had more of a gothic theme to them, and I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't mind how they sounded. So, K-pop and K-rock. I'm gonna put it in no idea, because I've heard a few things about K-pop, and I'm gonna put it above lo-fi because it makes more sense than lo-fi so far. Lo-fi, I genuinely have no idea what lo-fi is. I can't decipher what this means. I've heard K-pop that I hate. I heard K-pop that I really like. I know nothing about K-rock, so I don't know enough. Not enough information. Remember, this tier is not Beneath Sounds Like Ass. This tier is, I genuinely just don't know where else to put it. Anime. Okay. Goated. Cool. I'm gonna put it in cool. I'm gonna put it like right here. Anime theme songs are goated, okay? I remember the Tokyo Ghoul one. There was one intro song, I don't remember what season it was at, but I remember there was one intro song that they used in Tokyo Ghoul. And it drove one of my brothers fucking insane, so I would intentionally let it play at the start of the episode, and he got so mad, he wanted me to skip it. Disney. You guys think I'm being a little facetious here. No, Disney is actually a genre of music now. And I don't know where to put this because there's a lot of Disney songs that are just kind of obnoxious. Frozen. If you were around when Frozen first came out, you would know how freaking overplayed that soundtrack was. Oh. Now, to be fair, I wasn't around when Mulan or Aladdin came out. I imagine it was similarly, but Mulan and Aladdin both have goated soundtracks, so yeah, some of those older Disney movies, the music's not bad, it's just kind of outdated. I'm trying to think what other ones that had, like, Hunchback of Notre Dame, I guess, but I was not a big fan. Oh, Beauty and the Beast! Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was a good one. I haven't watched The Lion King a lot, so I can't really speak to that. Hercules. Absolute classic. The genre of music didn't really fit the genre of movie there, but it was good music and it was a good movie. Never watched Tarzan, at least not in full. I've seen like clips here and there. I will put it in. I'll put it in all right. Let's put it right there. Let's put it right there. They got a lot that I don't like, but they got a lot that's just, I mean, we all know the songs. We all know the songs, right? Holiday. You know what? I'm gonna put it at the top of tolerable. It does get overplayed, but I mean, how can you not love when it's like December 1st and you start hearing all the Christmas songs in the mall, and I love the feeling. I love the feeling. Novelty. So novelty music is like, in the old times they would have like Tiny Tim, but that would also include Psycho Stick, which is, one of their song names is, Dogs Like Socks, to give you an idea of what they're like. Another good example that would be more modern, if you're the kind of person who kind of grew up on kind of 2010s YouTube, is, like the Narwhal song and all those Minecraft parodies. There were so many pop song remixes in Minecraft style. It was really funny. And they were all over the internet at that time period. The thing is, you don't really take these songs seriously. They're not like, I don't want to say they're not like real songs. Bottom of cool. I'm not gonna sit down, relax, and listen to the Narwhal song. But songs like that do make you laugh. Bluegrass. Okay, that's like country on steroids. Country as Hank Hill singing. Bluegrass is Boomhauer singing. The most popular bluegrass song is probably Shine On, which I actually learned from King of the Hill, so how appropriate. I'll put it in tolerable right here-ish. Yeah. It's alright. Christian gospel. I put it at the top to be fair, okay? Okay, Gregorian. A lot of Gregorian is very churchy. Like, you could kind of lump it in with a lot of Christian stuff, but it's also been used in a lot of like Nordic folk, that sort of sound. One band that I know does it really well is Vordruna Kvitraven. Kvitravn. The Gregorian chant is very subtle, but very, very nice. Oh, and soundtracks. A Gregorian chant in a soundtrack. banger. I will put this in alright. Bottom of alright. Abstract. I will take somebody speaking into a mic before I listen to Yoko Ono scream into a mic. Literally. Look up, that's another Stevie T video. In case you're curious, abstract music, it's a real thing. Like, there's some abstract art with that, if nothing else, just because it's like cool colors and stuff, it's like, okay, this looks cool. I don't think there's any deeper meaning than that, but it looks cool. Abstract music is kind of like that. Except I have yet to find any abstract music that's like, oh, okay, that's not bad. And I know Bjork is technically like abstract like that, but I tried listening to her songs and not a fan. Not a fan, guys, I'm sorry. Country. I'm gonna put that just behind Disney, right there. Actually, I'll lump it in with Americana, because they're kind of similar. There's some country that I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty good. And then there's some that's just like kind of obnoxious. If you hear any country song about trucks and beer and women, you've heard like 90% of country. Country rock is interesting. That's like Lynyrd Skynyrd, Willie Nelson, Charlie Daniels, the original Devil Went Down to Georgia, in case you didn't know. And then, I need to know, would country rock include Volbeat? Johnny Cash, that's another one, but would that include Volbeat? Because I love me some Volbeat. I guess they're technically more rock, but they really have strong country elements. The guy sounds a lot like Johnny Cash. They have the acoustic going, sometimes a banjo. Country rock, I'll put higher. I'll put like that step above novelty, step below hardcore rap. There we go. I think that's fair. And finally, we have blues. What do I have for blues? Respect to blues because they inspire a lot of the like patterns and sounds that people use for modern music, especially metal and rock. It's just not a genre I listen to a lot. I know in the picture it's Eric Clapton. That's like my mom's favorite blues artist. I haven't heard of a lot of others. B.B. King, that was the other one I was trying to think of. Somebody had the audacity to put B.B. King at the top of a best metal bands list. Heavy metal bands list. And I was like, what the? They put like Dave Mustaine, who's one of the big four in like the 80s. And then they put B.B. King at like number 2, I think. He was that high. Which is like, I kind of at this point expect anybody who's into quote-unquote metal, especially if they're a geezer who's like the ones running these websites, put like a Van Halen at the top, to put Aerosmith at the top or whatever, because they'll be like, nobody's gonna beat the classics, nobody can play like they can anymore. B.B. King isn't even metal, he's blues, what the fuck? Again, respect to blues, because they were like they formed a lot of like the foundational aspects of metal music, but you're not metal. It's like putting Beethoven in there. It's like, well, Beethoven helped invent music, so he should be at the top of a metal list. No! Beethoven's not metal! I mean, let me mute again so I don't get copyright struck. It's so slow. I'm gonna go to sleep. Okay, here we got some vocals. Stay awake, Cinder! Stay awake! I'm still watching. Okay, yeah, I'm going to sleep. Respect for being such a foundation for so much of these, but at the same time, I mean, it wasn't bad, it was just boring, so I'll put it with Bluegrass. Kind of the same reason I put Renaissance here instead of Not For Me. Renaissance was like the foundation of music. Blues was the foundation of a lot of modern music, so respect, but I can't put it any higher than that for just regular listening. For me? Okay, here's my tier list. Remember, this is my tier list, not the tier list. So, if you want to change it up, if you want to try this for yourself, this specific tier list will be available on tiermaker.com. You can try this for yourself. Let me know if you agree, let me know if you disagree, let me know if this opened a new realm of music for you, and let me know if you've discovered a new genre that you just hate. That's all I got for now, so I guess I'll see you later. My friends, my spectators, thank you for watching, and farewell.